This is the SENIX 144 cubic centimeters 20-inch gas push lawn mower. After spending some time with it, I thought it might be helpful to share what I've noticed so far. The thing that stood out to me right away was the weight. It weighs about 39 pounds without fuel, so it feels much lighter than most gas mowers I've used. I can turn it around trees, pull it back from a fence, and guide it along garden beds without much effort. It does not have a self-propelled drive, but I haven't really missed one on a small, mostly flat yard. Setup was simple. I had the handle attached and the mower ready in around 15 minutes. The controls are basic, and there isn't much to figure out. Engine oil was included with mine, which saved me from having to guess what to buy during setup. I still checked the manual and oil level before starting the engine. This uses a 144 cubic centimeters 4-cycle engine. Gas and oil stay separate, so I don't have to mix them together. That is one reason I prefer this type of engine over older 2-cycle lawn equipment. I add regular unleaded gas to the fuel tank and check the engine oil as part of normal maintenance. Starting has been easy so far. The recoil cord pulls smoothly, and the engine usually starts after 1 or 2 pulls. I haven't had to spend much time adjusting controls or trying to get it running. I was a little concerned about starting because that could be one of the frustrating parts of owning a gas mower, but I haven't had a problem with this one yet. The engine runs at a steady speed, and the 20-inch blade has handled regular grass, thicker patches, and some taller weeds without stalling. I did slow down in dense areas instead of pushing straight through at full walking speed. That gave the blade more time to clear the grass and produced a cleaner cut. The side discharge setup is simple. Clippings come out through the chute and spread across the lawn. I noticed that the deck stays fairly clear when the grass is dry. It also moves damp clippings better than some smaller push mowers I've used, though wet grass can still collect underneath. I wouldn't expect any mower to avoid buildup completely when the lawn is soaked. There is no rear bag included, and this is not a dedicated mulching mower. That is important to understand before buying it. I normally leave clippings on the lawn, so the side discharge works for me. If I wanted to collect every clipping or keep grass out of flower beds, I would look at a different model. The steel deck feels rigid when I push across uneven ground. It uses a 20-inch cutting blade inside a deck that is about 21 inches wide. The cutting path feels suitable for a small residential yard. It covers more ground than a narrow electric mower I've used, but it is still compact enough to move through tighter spaces. The wheels are 7 inches in diameter at the front and rear. They roll easily on short grass and provide enough grip on a mild slope. Since the mower is light, I can make quick direction changes without lifting much weight. On rough ground, the smaller wheels do require a little more effort than the larger rear wheels found on heavier mowers. Cutting height adjustment is the main inconvenience for me. There are 3 height positions from about 1.35 inches to 3.15 inches, but there is no central adjustment lever. I have to loosen and reposition each wheel separately. It works, but it takes more time and effort than a mower with 1 or 2 adjustment levers. I tend to keep my grass at the same height, so I don't have to deal with that often. If I change cutting height throughout the season, this would probably bother me more. I also check the wheel bolts during setup. The clearance between the wheels and the deck is narrow, and a wheel can rub if it isn't aligned before the bolt is tightened. The main deck is steel, but the discharge chute and some of the engine covering are plastic. The chute feels light and can flex when I press on it. It has held up during normal mowing, but I try not to hit it against fence posts, rocks, or other hard objects. Noise is reasonable for a gas mower. It is still loud enough that I wear hearing protection, but the engine tone is less harsh than some older gas mowers I've used. Vibration through the handle is also manageable. The foam grip helps, especially when mowing for more than a few minutes. Fuel use has been modest in my experience. I can mow a typical small residential lawn without stopping to refill the tank. For a yard around a quarter acre, the fuel capacity should be enough for a normal cutting session, though tall grass and slower mowing can affect how long a tank lasts. Storage is another practical point. The handle folds forward over the mower, so it takes up less room in my garage. I still let the engine cool before folding the handle or moving the mower into storage. For longer storage, I use fresh fuel with a stabilizer and follow the manual for fuel and oil care. Small gas engines can develop carburetor problems when old ethanol fuel sits for months. Compared with a heavier self-propelled mower, this SENIX takes more pushing on steep or rough ground. On flat grass, though, the low weight makes it easier to control. Compared with a battery mower, I don't have to wait for a battery to charge, but I do have to deal with gas, oil checks, and seasonal maintenance. I think this mower makes the most sense for a small or medium residential yard, especially when side discharge is enough. It also suits my needs when easy pushing and compact storage matter more than bagging, mulching, or powered wheels. I would be less likely to choose it for a large property, a steep lawn, or a yard where I regularly change the cutting height. My experience has been positive, but the mower is basic. I like the lightweight, easy starting, steady cutting power, and folding handle. I don't like adjusting all four wheels by hand, and I would prefer a stronger discharge chute. Those are reasonable trade-offs for my yard, but they may not be for every situation. If the yard is fairly small and a simple side discharge gas mower is all I need, I would consider this one. I would just make sure the lack of a grass bag, the manual wheel adjustment, and the routine gas engine maintenance fit the way I plan to mow. If you have any questions about the SENIX 144 cubic centimeters 20-inch gas push lawn mower, leave them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more practical product reviews. Thank you for watching.